Welcome to another Spotlight is On with, of course, BRITWRESPHOTOS. Dude, how are we doing, mate? You all right?
Hello, I'm all right, thanks to you.
Yeah, not too bad. It's just like trying to survive from this bloody heat, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah. What about
yeah.
yourself, mate? How's your week been for you so far? Well, from last week, we're in Monday, actually.
Well, from last week it was all right. I did some photos for Future on the Saturday. That was about it, really.
Really? Okay. So, busy, busy, busy. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, yeah, it's been busy.
Easy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said, mate, we're talking obviously about obviously you as a thing. So, how did it all begin, mate? What made you obviously want to get into the photography side of wrestling?
So I was like my mum and dad. They took me to my first wrestling show when I was like 10. Um, Absolutely fell in love with it. And even from then, like during the shows, I would take my phone, like take photos of the wrestling, on my phone, and then I also had like photography as a side passion, so like aviation, spotting, all of that. So I decided to like bring my camera to one of the shows. I was as a fan, sat in the crowd, and just took photos of the show, and then eventually. I just kind of fell in love with it and wanted to do it more and stuff.
Absolutely. So, how did it obviously come about? You obviously got to do, I think it's Firestar, FUTR as
Yeah.
well.
So at Firestar, they didn't have a photographer for one of the shows, and the promoter put in the group chat for the show like anyone who can do photography, and Skylar actually put my name forward and says yeah, Brit Rest Photos. So he had me for that show, and then that one show turned into like another booking, then another, and then another, and now I'm like one of two photographers they have like permanently now. So that's great stuff.
Absolutely. So
Um,
let's is there a different approach to different shows, or is it the same thing either way?
um, With regards to like the matches in the wrestling, it's exactly the same every show. It's just the venues. Some are different lighting. Like Five Star, they've got a venue up in Greenland. That venue's like it's very light in there. Whereas Future is like they've not got much lighting in there, so it's a lot darker. So it's just different settings and just having a play really. Before the show begins to see how it works. But like in regards to the wrestling, it's just exactly the same.
Okay, so obviously I sports a few like photographers and stuff like that. What's the typical like day for you when it comes to photography?
So the night before, I make sure I have everything ready, like lenses, camera, like an empty memory card, I charge all the batteries, and then pretty much on the day we travel up, and then I like have a few test shots before the show begins. Like sometimes at Five Star they do a training session before, and like I just go to the ringside and just get a couple photos whilst for training, just to test the lighting out and everything. Um, then it's the show, just pretty much do the photography for the show, come back, and then I pretty much start on them like straight away. Like the night after the show, I start sorting them out and everything.
You mentioned sorting them out there. Is that like obviously like seeing which ones are good, which ones are bad, like
Yeah.
filters, etc.?
So pretty much what I do is I just snap constantly. So like if there's any big move, like just a suplex, I just like hold the shutter button down and it just snaps like loads of photos, and I pretty much just like go through each one of the photos and just like select one that is like the best, and then chuck that into like another folder for the wrestlers.
Absolutely. So one of the things obviously I've what gets brought up every time when it comes to photography is like your style. Is it have you got your own style or is it something you're adapting at the minute?
Um, to be honest, I don't really like have a style. I always prefer to go ring post. As I hate like blocking the fans out of the way of the view, as obviously like they've paid to enter, whereas I'm being paid for the show. So I always hate having to get in the way of fans. So I was very mindful. So mine are usually like ring post to ring post. At Five Star for at Greetland, the venue there, there's no fans on the entrance side. So for that show, I can like have the whole like row, that like the whole side of that ring to myself.
Okay, absolutely. So you mentioned Skylar there. We have to talk about Skylar. She was on the show recently. I know this is going to go out, but what's she like behind the scenes? Like, what's she like outside of wrestling?
She's pretty much the same as she is in wrestling. To be fair, um, very annoying. Nah, she's really nice and is always so supportive of me and my photography. If ever she needs like promo pics doing, because we're from the same household, it's oh, can I go get my promo pics done? Runs upstairs, like gets changed into gear, comes down, and then we like just do the promo photos in like the living room and stuff. So that's always fun.
Is she very picky when it comes to like what pictures as well?
Yeah, very. um, so when I do these like promo pictures, I pretty much just spam hold the shutter button, and she just does random poses, and I have to like send her like every single one that I took, so she can choose them herself and stuff.
Oh, bless her.
Um,
Like I said, I mean, she was on the show recently. She was incredible. Do you know what I mean? It was. I don't know if you saw the show she was on.
um, the last time I saw her was the Future on Saturday. She was in a Rumble. The House of Pain one, I was there as well. I wasn't doing photos, I was just being a fan.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
because obviously you're involved in wrestling photography, do you look at wrestling now from a different like vantage point? If that makes sense.
Um, well, it's certainly different from like when I was younger, like watching it from the crowd. Now it's like I don't in a way I don't really like get to watch it as I'm like too busy looking through the camera lens for the photos. So pretty much half of the stuff on the shows are just like a complete blur to me. Um, but it is a different view of watching it now as I can kind of tell when certain like stuff is coming up and like when to move and stuff like that.
Absolutely. So obviously people might watch this to those who is into photography. What three things, in your opinion, makes a good photographer?
Um, I'd definitely say like your camera. Each camera is different. It kind of is individual to you. So I feel like one is like just do whatever you're comfortable with. Um, I say number two is just try. Even if you do what I did when I was little, like just take a phone or even if you've got a camera to a show, and just practice. They may be really good. You may decide, oh, I like it. I want to continue. Or you may decide actually like, oh, it's a bit too hard. No. Um, and thirdly is just don't think about it too much. As some photos just come naturally. Um, as I find when I concentrate too much, my head's like all over the place with trying to find photos and stuff. Whereas if I just do it naturally, it just all the photos like come to me. If like that makes sense.
I think what you're referring to is like just go with the flow in a way.
Yeah. Um, just pretty much just take photos and then yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, they to make people look good. That's what they always say, right?
Yeah. I remember on Saturday as well when I was with Future during like the talk before the show. Uh, Kyle Kingsley actually said to the roster, um, with a rumble, if you guys are in a tag team or something, make sure you're in together. As we've got a photographer, he can get photos of you in action together. So it just puts yourself out there a bit. Um, and another thing he also said when I did his the first time was always like use the photographer to an advantage in a way. So like even if it's just like posing or something to them on your entrance or like during like if you're doing like after the match or something, if you're doing like if I don't know, like if you're a heel or something, you like stand on like the face or whatever, just for the photo.
Yeah, absolutely. So I presume, did you watch like other photographers and watch what they do to like take like advice or inspiration?
Yeah, so um at Future there's another photographer called Mark. I don't know him personally, and he probably doesn't even know who I am. But yeah, I did notice obviously like he has a bit of a different style to me. He kind of runs around the ring and snaps. I tried doing that at the last show, but it didn't really work out for me as like every corner had like different lighting. Um, so it was just a bit hard to kind of get decent photos from each corner. Um, there's another person up at 5 star. He's called Alex, who I work alongside with there. He's incredibly talented. Um, I do take notice for some of the stuff he does. Um, as he actually like watches a bit and then figures out like the spots and stuff and like the spots for photos and stuff. Um, and like he also uses like filters on his, which is something that I've kind of thought about doing, but I just don't know how I'd feel about putting filters like black and white on them and stuff.
Okay. So one of the games I like to play with people is I've got a list of categories here. Now, obviously, you've done photography. I presume you've watched wrestling as a fan as well, right?
Yeah.
So if I give you a category, I want you to think of the first wrestler that comes to your head. The only rule is you can't use the same person twice. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So if I say the word strength, what do you think of in wrestling?
Sticks.
Ooh.
Like he's incredibly strong. Like the muscles alone, just to show how strong he is.
Okay. What about
Yeah.
speed?
Speed. There's quite a few actually I could go for. I think I'm gonna have to say Jimmy Phoenix on that. Oh no, actually, I'm gonna take that back. No offense, Jimmy. Scooter, he's incredibly fast in the ring. Jimmy is as well. Like he's a high flyer, incredibly fast. Um, I think we might need to do like a race just to see who's the fastest. But yeah, both of them two are incredibly fast in the ring and incredibly talented as well.
Okay. What about charisma?
Um, Charisma, I'm gonna have to say like either Pretty and Pink or like Pure Nasty, the tag team. They just like have so much charisma in the ring. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why you said Pretty in Pink. I mean, I was there for the
Yeah.
show and saw it, and they were just incredible.
Yeah.
So, what about technical ability?
Um, this is a tough one actually. I do quite like Danny Is he's really like technical as well. Like his match with Air Felix on Saturday, that was like really technical with some of the stuff he did. Like with like rolls, pins, moves, everything. It was amazing.
Okay. Who's good on the mic?
There's a wrestler called Xander Palmer. He's incredible on the mic. Um, he has like this character. It's humble Xander Palmer, and it's incredible. Like um, he he can go on for ages on the mic and never get boring. He's hilarious and stuff. I did a TNT Explosives show in Normanton, in Leeds, and he was there and he did a whole promo on the mic about being from Normanton in Derby and why it's better than Normanton in Leeds. He's incredible on the mic.
Okay. Who's got the best entrance? This could include music.
I'm going back for when I was a fan here, Cara Noir, the whole Black
Oh,
Swan.
yes. Oh,
Yeah,
yes. Now we're talking.
yeah. He was one of my favourites. Back in when I used to watch Hope in Mansfield, like the whole lights coming off and um, him walking around the ring with the cape in the ring. Oh, it's amazing. I always remember one show. He was tagging with Kip Sabian. And during the entrance, Kip actually ran backstage, grabbed a vape, like came out of a mouthful of like the smoke in it. And then when Cara did his thing where he like lifted up the cape, he like went underneath like the cape and blew the smoke out. So he had like smoke effects in his entrance from Kip's vape, which I found like hilarious. But it was incredible.
Yeah, I'll absolutely love Cara's entrance. Who's the best at storytelling?
um, I quite like the current situation in Firestar with Martin Kirkby, Anarchy Inc. It's like No Fun Dawn, Danny is Ashley Dawn. they're putting on a really good story at the minute, with a new faction called the Southsiders. And they're all like my childhood favourites. And I just really can't wait to see where the story goes. But it's good so far.
Absolutely. And lastly, who's the best all rounder?
Ooh, I do quite like watching. Oh, this is very it's interesting stuff. I think I've probably said their name before. Um, there's a wrestler that I do quite watching. Riley Miles. He's really good, and he's starting to like break through and get out there a lot. I've seen him like at Elevation, Future, House of Pain, um, like with multiple like A plus and the Rocket and stuff. Like he's really good. Um, and he kind of travels everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, obviously, I'm going back to obviously people I've spoken to. How important is timing when it comes to photography?
Very important. As they only tend to do that one move once. If I miss it, then that's it, gone. So if I do miss something in the show, I do feel like really bad. I've not finished my future photos yet from the show, but I did put a message out on the album, basically saying, "Oh, I'm incredibly sorry. I did miss some of the entrances on the Rumble, um, as like they came out so fast and I couldn't like click in time." Um, yeah, so I do feel bad if I miss stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, wrestling's all about learning. What have obviously you learned, obviously, as you've been doing photography?
Um, I've kind of learnt a lot about how the show's run. Um, so with like going early to help build the ring, be there for like the briefing, help set down and everything. I was kind of learned. Well, I've learned how to put up a ring, which I never knew how to do. Um, the same with photography. I've kind of learned what's coming next, so I can be prepared. Um, a few of the wrestlers do tell me what we're going to be doing, um, so I'm prepared. Or I had one of the wrestlers called Malachi, not Five Star Future. He came up to me and said, at the end of the match, I'm going to stand on Alton Thorn and say like my catch line, can you get a photo of it, please? So I just made sure to look out for that. And yes, I feel like it's something where you can never stop like learning and stuff.
Yeah, and picking up what you've just said there, I feel like communication as well is obviously key.
Yeah. So a couple of wrestlers ask about photos and stuff like that. Um, there's sometimes where I don't know something's happening, and then I can kind of tell it's happening. There was a bit at Five Star. There was like a straight jacket match between Sweeney and Remus Kane. Um, Sweeney asked if I could get a few photos beforehand. I didn't know the start of the match, so I was stood beside where the ring is, and a few of the wrestlers come through the entrance as like in a faction. So like the entire faction came out with Sweeney. Like he has like these like kind of like priest outfits, like all black outfits. They came out with him. He had Phantom Phoenix, and I was stood in front of them. And Remus was about to do a suicide dive, and I did actually see. I think it was Phantom Phoenix actually went like that to me. So I shifted and then suicide dive. So there is a lot of communication, even if it's just something like that.
Absolutely. For you, what's the most rewarding thing when it comes to photography?
I love looking at them back. Personally, um, like same with all my photography. I just love coming home, looking through them and then sorting them out. Um, I do quite like seeing people like use my photos, um, like especially when it's like the people that I grew up watching. Sorry, kind of stuff like that. It's really like nice to see them actually like using my photos and stuff like that.
Yeah. How many photos on average could you take, like, let's say, on a typical show?
It's usually between about 6,000, like 8,000, um, and the final amount is only probably about, well, it's between about 300 and about 600. Um, That is because like I literally do spam click everything. So there's kind of like no need to have about 15 photos of one suplex. So I only like do one or two, um, and stuff like that. This weekend with Future, I think I took about 7,000. Um, I've had some other stuff on my card, like promo pics and stuff like that I did before the show. But the actual show was about 7,000.
Wow, is that the most you've took in a single like show?
I've been in the 10,000s before. That's when I first got my new camera and I wanted to make sure the photos went well. Um, I think about 700 came of them, if I remember correctly.
And you have to go through each individual picture and check what everyone.
Yeah, it isn't bad. As sometimes I can go through them like fast. With it being, it's basically like if I just like with how I do my photography, if I just press and hold the arrow key as I'm sorting them, it just looks like the match is like a video. So it's like kind of going through them. Oh, I like that one. Send it across, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. How did the name
Yeah.
come about? BRITWRESPHOTOS Photos. Don't say ChatGPT, please.
No, it was. It was about 2024. I think it was like December 2024. I think it was. Um, I think it was. That's it. I was speaking to like um one of the wrestlers, and he said a really good hashtag to use because I said about wanting to do more. I remember it now. We took my sister to training, and me, my mum, and her partner went to like a Costa down the road, and I wanted to do more photography. And I was talking to them about it, and uh, my mum's partner, he's called Johnny. He said BritRes, that's a really good hashtag at the minute. And I kind of thought, BritRes photos. And from there, I was like, yeah, BritRes photos. So I just jumped straight onto Instagram to see if the name was taken. It wasn't. So I just quickly created an account, BritRes photos. That's how it came about.
There you go, and stuff like that. So I feel that more questions made as we begin to wind down. Obviously, like I said, how long have you been involved in photography now?
For wrestling photography, I've officially started in 2025 in April, so just over a year. But for actual like genuine photography, it's been my passion since like 2016, 2017.
Okay, absolutely. And what's the goal, obviously, for you now, mate? Obviously, what's the next step where you want to go?
I'd love to. The end goal is to be a photographer for like WWE. Um, However, like in a way, I don't think I'll ever like kind of be that standard. As photography is expensive and stuff. So yeah, it's getting the right kit for them. Well, to be noticed, and so it's a bit unrealistic, but it is realistic at the same time. I just love to do more um within the UK. Um, that's pretty much it, really, over the minute.
Okay, is it? Would you like to do like a Rev Pro show or a Progress show if that opportunity come up?
Oh, that'd be wicked, yeah. It's pretty much yeah, again like all the childhood people that I used to watch, like Corey Noir, Charles Crowley, like they work for Progress. So it'd be cool to go down and take photos of them and actually like work for them.
Absolutely, man. Brit Res, hopefully you enjoy yourself today. Thank you very much for taking time to talk to us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I need a couple of things from you. Do you want to plug your socials?
So I've got three at the minute. So I've got BritRest Photos as the name, um, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. The TikTok's not very active. Neither is the Facebook, but I still have them. I do plan on using them a lot more over the few next months.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you are watching this on YouTube, you may see the QR code of Brit Rez's head. If you scan that QR code, that would take you to his Instagram. Go support him. And like I said, he wants to use it a lot more. Yeah, one final thing, mate, is you get to do the outro. You can say anything you want. You can promote anything you want. And we'll end the show. Brit Rez, over to you, bro.
So pretty much, if you want to do photography, just do it. Even if you're there as a fan in the crowd with a phone, iPad, just whatever, just do it. So thanks for watching and subscribe to Magic of Wrestling.
Cheers for watching, guys.